J&A Q&A Part 2. I would be the best grandmother in the world. He was the cutest man I've ever kissed in my life.
And he just goes me.
Oh, this is making me sick. You literal clown. You literal clown. When you were on
Was
teams,
I not always the
You were.
wellest behaved?
the most well behaved. I am.
I
I like when my mom makes my lunch and does my laundry. Like, hello everyone and welcome back to a new J&A Q&A Part 2. These are a next set of 10 questions from you guys. This is going to round up my IG stories, and then we will move on to a different format from here. We'll talk about that later. But my name is Jennica.
I'm Annica.
And welcome to the video.
Mom's gotten 10 questions written down. I have not seen them, and I think we're just gonna go back and forth, right?
Yeah, I think
Okay.
that it works with like me ask one, you ask one.
Okay, perfect.
Just to give it some spice. We also do want to thank Rocket Money for sponsoring
Sponsoring
today's
this
video.
video.
Now Rocket Money doesn't ask to sponsor our Q&As or anything. I feel like we
fall.
want these to feel podcasty.
Yeah.
And to me, like Rocket Money feels
It's
like a
like,
good
yeah,
podcast ad.
yeah.
And so maybe we're like manifesting some future stuff here. But future. So we will keep you updated when podcast stuff eventually does start rolling. Like y'all will be
Yeah, we'll
informed
be on the
every step
same
of the
page.
way.
Yeah.
So let's get started.
You gonna go first?
First up we have, how has Jennica's relationships with boyfriends or friends affected Annica and her relationships?
Let's keep in mind that my father was her first boyfriend, so I've been there for every single boyfriend, whether I remember it.
Yeah.
I don't know. But it's taught me almost how different every relationship can look.
Yeah.
Because I feel like not one of your relationships was the same to another.
No, but I also really didn't have any relationships once you could really remember.
No, it
My
was
last
all-
boyfriend was you were 4.
Yeah.
I mean, you saw me like hang
Yeah.
out with other guys and things, but
It taught me that I don't need a boyfriend.
I think that it just me not prioritizing a boy also
Yeah.
showed you that you didn't have to prioritize a boy.
and that's the best thing you could have ever shown me.
Okay, what do you think about my friendships?
Your friendships definitely have shown me what real friendships are because I've seen your college group of friends was like your core group of friends.
Yeah.
And you have like now your core.
Yeah.
But I feel like in college I was able to see like who
Yeah.
was.
And I really was close with like 20 people.
Yeah,
I mean,
it showed me
was-
like how genuinely real friends should treat you.
Yeah.
And how real friendships look.
That was also the first time in my life that I was experiencing good girlfriends, so I equally was like
Learning.
knew how special and important those friendships were when they were like developing and happening. And when I could see other girls finally for the first time actually putting effort back into me, like I really knew I want to be friends with these girls. I do feel like they're friends that you have kind of in your early 20s, those first years that you're like out on your own. But then also, is this gonna
Are you
be...
gonna be able to hear this?
We might need to go into the garage, right?
Hold on.
Yeah.
The only time we wouldn't wish for rain.
I know. I didn't even say that it was supposed to
I
rain.
didn't either.
I feel like those first few years that you're like fresh out of your parents' house or really on your own for those first times, but then also kind of starting to make your own money, those 4 formative years, whoever you're kind of getting to know yourself with, it is just such a special bond.
Yeah, I agree. It definitely set the standard for friendships
Yeah.
for me. It really did. It made me almost not put pressure on finding my core friends in high school because you didn't find yours until college. So, like, I knew that it wasn't like, oh, you have to find your high school friends, that they come in your life when you need them and it might be later.
Yeah. And sometimes you just might not have that friend. It might take a minute, but I think that a lot of times putting yourself in similar whatever age you are, what are you going to be wanting to do with your friends? Like maybe start going to some of those things. If you want to have candle making date with your friends, maybe visit a candle studio and do that on a solo night to see if there's people your age. Why did you smile at me like that?
Because I did do that.
Oh, I thought you were making fun of me. I was like,
No, I did. I literally just did that.
yeah, but you went with a friend.
Yeah.
That's a perfect thing to do. But they have like those nights where you can go and just, or if your new thing is wanting to do pottery, go to a pottery studio. I promise you there's somebody that is doing the same thing that you're doing, wanting to have those same hobbies. But I think that it is at all times kind of good to have at least a few people in your corner.
Okay, you and Sophia. Thank you so much, Rocket Money, for sponsoring this video. Rocket Money has definitely been a staple in our house lately with trying to save for New York. It's been our best friend.
I have been a Rocket Money gal for a while. Rocket Money is a personal finance app that helps you cancel subscriptions, lower your bills, and manage your money better.
I, however, am new to Rocket Money, but by far my favorite feature that they have is that they can analyze your spending habits to create a custom budget that works for your lifestyle.
Mine was canceling unwanted subscriptions.
Literally,
that was the first tool that I took advantage of, and I canceled literally 3 that day. It is so nice to be able to go in and look at your internet, phone, and cable bills and see if you could be getting a better deal.
Yeah, can't they like negotiate for you?
Mhm.
Perfect.
Actually, just this morning, I got a notification that said my weekly spending was down
I got one too.
64% from last week.
Mine was 7.
Oh. I win.
You win. That's a good percentage down.
It is nice getting those little weekly summaries of your budgets, though.
Then when it goes up, it's not fun.
Some
Then
weeks,
that
yeah,
gets you
I
in
will
check.
say some weeks it's fun, some
That
weeks
gets
it's
you
not.
in check real fast. The 5% was kind of humiliating.
You could have
but
done better.
I could have done better. Next week.
To help save more and spend less, go to rocketmoney.com/Jennica Annica to get started for free today.
That's rocketmoney.com/Jennica Annica to get started for free today, but you can also upgrade to premium to unlock even more features.
Thank you so much, Rocket Money, for sponsoring this video.
My turn. Did you ever imagine you'd be taking my graduation pics in New
No.
York on the Met steps and in the New York Public
No,
Library?
that is crazy. I really genuinely just never had any specific, you were just so your own person, and I knew that I just wanted to support whatever you wanted to do, that I never had anything pictured for you. I did for a second. You really did want to go to Ole Miss for a second, like
When?
from like 6th grade to 9th grade, I feel like. And then once you got to high
no
school, you were just kind of like,
recollection of
no. So I thought, oh, maybe she's gonna do an SEC school. When Drake went to Knoxville, you liked Knoxville, but you didn't like love it. So I was like, okay, I don't feel like she's gonna go there. But you never had any sort of, I don't know if you already knew that you didn't want to continue school that long, but
Probably.
yeah.
That doesn't appeal to me. That doesn't.
So I guess with that, I
Just because
didn't.
it's traditional doesn't mean I have to do it.
Yeah, I wanted like a cap and gown photo of you for sure.
Yeah.
But I didn't necessarily.
I'm honestly glad you pushed me because I could have, like, if we didn't make moves on it, it would have glanced right over and I would have never taken pictures or
I
anything.
know. I wanted the like drapes pictures, the one you get with like just the black drapes. I wanted to do that. I know she wouldn't let me. And now it's like, it's a few months past.
Yeah.
But
I'm glad that we did. And it kind of just, like, fell together. We didn't do too much, like, planning for it.
Yeah.
It just happened.
I know, and they were great. And I'm like, every time I go across my Instagram or in my photos or wherever I see, if I'm coming in the house and I look over and I see the photo, like they make me beam. Like I love them, and and it feels like
perfect.
they're exactly where they're supposed to be.
They're perfect.
Yeah. What was it like telling new friends that you have a kid and you have a young mom? So what's it like explaining? Because it's not like you just like have a young mom.
It was just always like, so how old is your mom?
Mm-hmm.
And you're okay. And I did the same thing that she does. She's like, you can skip the math. I was 13.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, oh, she's 32. Like, she was 13 when she had me, blah, blah, blah. 14.
Yeah.
She was 14 when she had me. And people were like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Like, imagine, it got to the point where I was like mostly saying that when we were in like high schoolish.
Mm-hmm.
At that point, people would be like, imagine having a kid right now.
know.
And I'd be like, she did. It was me.
I would always be like, this could be your possibility. So be safe, everyone. Be safe.
Yes.
Be safe. For me, it always came up pretty quickly because there's only so much I can say about myself without bringing up you in a conversation or just a part of me. Like, there's just so much small talk I can have without it getting brought up pretty naturally for me. And there's only ever been one time that I kind of
Danced around it.
was kind of talking to this guy for a second, and the very first night, it just didn't come up. Like, it was the only one and only time in the first night, it just did not come up. And I was like, okay, well now it feels like I've hidden something from him, you know? Like, it didn't feel right to then. And I didn't know, I wasn't necessarily trying to like date this guy. So like, then the next few times we saw each other, I was like, now I literally can't tell him. Like, I just can't tell him. Which, and this wasn't, again, me like hiding from it. Then it felt weird because you are such a huge part of my life. So I felt like he'd been like, we've had so many conversations, how did this get brought up? But it was just such a different, I wasn't trying to talk to him about my kids.
Personal.
He was the cutest man I've ever kissed in my life. I mean, we weren't doing much talking anyway.
Ooh. Oh.
You understand now?
Yeah.
So, other than that, though, I love people, either say, you don't look old enough to have a kid, or you
I'm
don't,
not.
and I say, I'm not. Well, I am old enough now, but I wasn't.
Well, you're not old
if they
enough
say
to
you
have
don't
a 17-year-old.
Yes, I say I'm not. Been getting that for forever. We always get y'all aren't sisters? Or
Oh, I thought you were friends.
I thought you were friends,
sisters.
yeah. We've had to kind of like pull back on the holding hands in public, because we
like,
it
what
just,
does it look like?
It just
what does it look
does
like?
look like we're probably, because then sisters wouldn't be holding hands in public,
No,
right?
and friends wouldn't be holding hands in public.
Girlfriends.
So
we're just every now and then, like in other places, but Nashville, people are always shocked. I feel like
the
also,
shock factor never leaves.
The shock factor never leaves. And now, once Annica got to like 8 and older, people would be like, "Oh, 8 months," and I'm like, "No, 8 years." Even 15, they'd be like, "Oh, 15 months," and I'm like, "No, she's about to get her literal driver's license." So,
in all of the different situations and scenarios and rooms you were put in,
okay.
did you ever feel judged by the other moms?
I mean, on and off for sure. And then there was like moms here and there.
Can I ask a more specific question?
Yeah.
What room did you feel the most judged in?
Well, any room in my hometown.
Okay. But like
Those
with
moms were the
dealing with
worst.
me, and like you were going to something for me and you had to be in a group of moms. You don't have to say like specific, but like
I mean, it really wasn't
Sport.
ever, I really never, I always had my moms, you know, whichever event
had
you were
one to go
doing,
to, yeah.
whichever sport you were doing, whichever like hobby, I always had a mom
that you could go
that
to.
I could go to. So, and I'm also very good at being the mom that shows up and gets their little job done and sits in the back of the room and doesn't, like, I don't go to
She didn't.
show out. Like, I just sit
She's there
back.
to do what she's supposed
I
to do.
used to
and then
always
she
be
sits
in
back.
the like PTOs and PTA organizations and things, and I would literally show up. I would set up whatever bookshelf I needed to, collect whatever money I needed to, go set up a ticket stand wherever I needed to, like talk to. But I wasn't in the small talk. I didn't know whose mom was doing what. I didn't know like the behind the scenes gossip. I just kept to myself, very much.
That
so.
is very true. That's
So-
fair. That's fair.
Yeah, I always. But really, truly, once you were like 4 and we got to Florence, I was ready to be like, I'm a good mom, everyone. I promise, come over, look at my house. Like I did feel like I needed to prove myself somewhat, but just as a mom, like. It didn't matter really my age. I want to meet your friends' moms and make
Yeah.
sure that that's a good, like, so I totally understood.
Yeah. Okay, your turn.
Ooh, okay. AJ, this one's for you. It's worked out where we've gotten our,
It really is.
How do you think that having a teen mom has impacted your view on becoming a mom?
This is
Also, can I just say, I do think it's kind of weird that people like already want to know if you want to have. Well, it's
I
just
say
like
well.
I was a teen mom, so I don't. Why does she even want to? And she's never had a boyfriend, so why are you even talking about it?
That's crazy. But I've never had a boyfriend.
But I get that people. That I feel like it's a normal thing to wonder about somebody, but we don't have to be
Just
asking
don't
all
ask.
the time. Yeah.
So, this is a very, very unpopular answer to a lot of the people that I tell around this area specifically. I don't want kids as of right now. I've always pictured my life like, and I've never really seen college in my future. And now I know like I don't want to go to college. I don't really see getting married in my future. I don't see having a kid. Like
She's always been like this.
I just
also.
don't see it happening, and I don't see myself like I don't want to say I don't see myself loving the situation because I might one day,
Yeah.
and it might change. But right now, I don't
I'm not
want that
worried
for
about it.
my-
Like I don't think that she's necessarily married to that. I don't know that that'll be who you are forever because everybody like looks back at who they were and thought they were at 18. Like you do change for sure. But Annica really like even her baby dolls growing up were never her babies. They were her sisters. Like they were her. She would call them her sisters or her friends or like she just really hasn't ever. And
I'm
even when
telling you guys,
people, she's never said she wanted to.
I promise, I have not one maternal bone in my body.
Yeah.
Not one.
I would be the best grandmother in the world. Like, me as a mom, it would be times 100,000. Like, I would be Mama J.
I just can't.
Yeah, I know. That's okay. I will be Mama
But
J to somebody else's kid.
To answer the question, I don't think that having a teen mom has necessarily impacted me because I think that we're in the best situation ever. And if anything, it should make me want kids more.
Yeah.
But just me as a person, I've never wanted kids and I've never seen that for myself. And I don't see the appeal. Like some people genuinely cannot wait to have kids and to be a mom.
I feel like it would just take you really truly finding someone and being in a really healthy situation and being like, oh, okay, well, this is what it's supposed to be like for this to happen.
That's such a big responsibility.
Yeah, but you'll
For
have your
your
mom be able
life?
to live in your freaking backyard. I will live in the mother suite in the back and do everything for you.
It's not the life for me. It's not.
It would be one of those situations where all you'd have to do is push it out.
That's enough for me to say no. That's enough for me to say no.
That's fair. I will take 100 animals from here on out. Perfect. Okay, is it your turn?
Is it hard to act like mother-daughter and not sisters?
We were just talking about this.
I feel like no
This is
matter
such
what
a
we
hot
do,
topic
it's just
question.
mom and daughter. Like, just because we're different doesn't mean it's not mother and daughter.
Right.
Like, I've never looked at her not as my mom. I've never looked at her, like, I just
And we
don't-
also both have sisters, which our age gaps with our sisters are different. But like, so we know what it's like to be a sister. And I've never felt like that. Like in any, even when we're like having fun, it feels like mother-daughter fun.
Yeah,
it
I've
doesn't
never-
feel like, even when we're having just genuine friend, like it's a mother-daughter
It
friendship.
never feels
it's not
anything other than that.
Yeah. And maybe it'll change as you get older because, I mean, truly, I think that my parenting and it'll be different as you become more and more of an adult. But, yeah.
We've never had to really, like, teeter the line.
No. What quality do you admire most about each other? Let me go first.
Sure.
Okay.
Give me a second to think about it.
I just say this a lot. I really, and we just talked about this last week. So your ability to just do what you're supposed to do. Like, you really...
I just don't see that in myself. I really don't.
You do what you're supposed to do. If you're...
I don't. Look at my list of today
do.
things I was supposed to do today. Not half of them is checked off.
But that's the thing is today's an off day, so you do what you can while you're leisurely enjoying an off day. For you,
true.
like this is that was what was that part of the day. You know,
Yeah.
you can't stack everything in. Those were just things you wanted to get done. You really will just go and do, and really you're proactive about things and just good at that. I will say I love that you make me like stop and just like calm down and be in the moment more all the time. Like I get I get stressed out about like things being perfect, and you remind me to, it's fine.
Cool.
So yeah.
Well, I wasn't thinking because I was listening to your response.
Oh, it's okay. It's okay.
So maybe.
Keep in mind, she is 17 years old after all.
What do we count as like quality?
It can be whatever you want it to be. Do y'all like the mics? Qualities about your mom that you like. It doesn't even happen to be the baby. It doesn't even have to be the top one. Just
Oh my gosh.
maybe a top 5.
I love.
I like when my mom makes my lunch and does my laundry. Like,
I love how much you trust me and how you just really do know how to handle every stage that I've been in. At least to my knowledge.
okay.
You've gone through each stage of mine good enough to lead me here. And I feel like I'm pretty good.
Yeah.
So you did a good job.
Okay. What was the first one you said? That was
How much you trust me.
Oh, yeah. You're trustworthy.
Okay.
But also, you can be a little sly sometimes.
That doesn't mean I'm not trustworthy.
No,
I'm just
no.
lie.
Yeah, but sometimes when you lie to me, I am shocked. And you come to me because you have like a guilty conscience about it, and you're finally like, all right, I gotta tell you.
Like
And I'm
what?
I don't even know.
You can tell.
Sketchy stuff, probably. Like what? What have you hidden from me for so long? Then dropped a bomb. But you do the thing where you wait the exact amount of time you should before you drop the bomb, and then you got to go to work for the day, and you leave me like, well, I guess it don't matter.
What's a good one?
Oh.
I mean, there's definitely times that I've like told you the end destination of where we were gonna be, but not told you the stops on the way. And then eventually I need to tell you a story that happened on a stop, and so then I gotta tell you.
That's
that the
also
stop
what she
happened.
does. Is she wants to tell me a story, but then she realizes,
I
I had
can't.
some backstory that she's not
Yeah.
involved in.
Yeah.
And the thing is, she just like, what shocks me every time is that she knows A, I wouldn't have cared,
And I'm
B,
gonna
I would have
tell
been
her anyway.
understanding, but like blah blah blah.
And I would have. I end up telling her every time too.
Mm-hmm.
That's what happens a lot of the time.
That's okay, I guess.
I know a really funny one.
What? Honestly, I had a hard time feeling bad for you. Honestly, I had a hard time feeling bad for you.
Tell?
You can tell if you want. I mean, that's mortifying.
I feel like I should. Like, I don't care at this point. It's been so long.
Oh, it's mortifying. But, like,
So,
honestly,
should I
it was
tell?
hard. Go ahead.
So, Mom was out having dinner with her friends one night, and I was talking to this guy, and she knew about it. He had been around her tons of times, and of course, I'm like, do you want to come? Like, we have a sports simulator in our apartment. Do you want to come use our
I
sports
don't know
simulator?
if you could guess this about me. I'm not a mom that lets a boy come to my home when I'm not there.
So,
That's crazy.
she'd been around him so many times, and he had a sports game. I was like, hey, let's do sports simulator after. You'll be warmed up anyway from your game. Like, it'll be fun. And
One of those, like, 3D.
Yeah,
or
you,
not
like, throw it at the
3D,
screen and, like,
it's
stuff like
it's
that.
a game that we have here at the apartment.
so, did I tell you about that or no? Did I tell you that he was coming?
Yes. Or
Okay.
no, I didn't know that y'all were hanging out.
Yeah, I didn't tell it because I thought that it was gonna be in enough time, whatever, that she was gonna get there right when he did. So I didn't. It was bad timing on my part. So then
Oh, this is making me sick.
I was like, oh, it would be so sweet of me to make him dinner for after his game.
If she would have told me that, I'd have been like, you literal clown. You literal clown. Do not give that boy one more second of your time.
So I was making his dinner during his game, and the game finished, and I was like, hey, what time are you gonna be here? And he just ghosted me. He just ghosted me, and he never came, and I ate the dinner by myself.
And I wondered why she was so, because she was like, really? She was
real
into
upset
him.
about it.
She was into him, and then all of a sudden she wasn't in it. Just nothing was making sense to me. It was like there was a missing piece. And of course, when she told me that, I was like, well, obviously he did that to you. Obviously he did that to you. I would have
Yeah.
told you he was going. He's just the most stereotypical boy that would he would do that.
Next
and then the
morning-
next morning be like, oh,
He was
sorry.
like, sorry, we lost the game, and I got upset. And I was like, well, it was delicious. I vowed never to tell that
Ghosted?
story.
ghosted with a full warm meal in front of you.
I took pictures of it and everything because it looks so good. What I want to know is how that stemmed from. Which quality do we like the most about each other?
That's what that came from? What in the world? Thank goodness we have topic, like, because we
Oh my goodness.
we would go so far in one direction and not be able to get back. Speaking of One Direction, we went to their concert one time when they were opening for Big Time Rush. Is this blurry? It is. Yeah, so we saw One Direction when they were opening for Big Time Rush,
And
and
we saw Ariana Grande when she was
Niall
opening up for
Oren
Justin
did
Bieber.
this to Annica. Did the heart. Straight to Annica. Baby 4-year-old Annica.
I don't really understand this, so you might have to just
Well, then do the
explain
next
it.
one.
What are you most excited about in this next stage?
Ooh. I try not to think about the answers when I write them down because so that can be like, authentic with you, and this one I really forgot about. I guess just really truly experiencing freedom. I keep saying I feel like I'm about to turn 18 also, but like with a frontal lobe, so that's nice.
I'm about
But
to turn 18 and I'm just missing that.
yeah, which good luck, girl. These next few years are gonna be the 20s really can be the trenches.
Just don't let me make dinner for anybody else.
We can't have that happen again, Annica. Well, I really think that I'm just excited about like to see what's next because this is all that I like we've talked about. Getting Annica to 18 successfully
Was
has
the end goal.
been my only goal in life, and obviously I knew that was going to happen. I was hoping that it would happen and there would be great things, and there are. So now it's just like literally what next? You know?
I have no idea.
I have no idea. I genuinely feel like I need to move first and then start planting seeds in my local community and seeing where I would know something's next, but I want to let it, like feel very fortunate to have the opportunity to let it come to me,
Mm-hmm.
and I want that to come to me.
Yeah.
I'm going to chase it. I'm going to find it,
But then it'll.
but it'll. We'll find each other.
For me...
Yeah, what do you think? This is I keep trying to reassure her, if you feel crazy,
I honestly,
this is one of the craziest times of life.
It hit me almost when I was turning 17. Like, I feel like I've been an adult for so long. Like, I feel like I've been kind of had responsibilities and everything for a minute. So I don't know if I'm going to feel a change.
Well, you've also had independence, too. So you're not, like, turning 18 and all of a sudden getting the later curfew and more of this and more of that. And you're kind of, your opportunities and your kind of lifestyle will be this. There's nothing dramatically changing.
Yeah.
This year.
Yeah.
Whereas last year it was
moving,
more.
but...
Yeah. Last year it was more like school's coming to an end. Like, when do I want to finish school? What's going to be?
Work, like working for the first time, like being new in the field.
Now you just
like
feel
that.
good.
Yeah, now I feel settled.
Really excited to be 18 though, because there's been so many random things, and y'all wouldn't even think about until your children start getting this weird age where you're thinking that they're grown, but they're like,
and we can do things by ourselves.
There's been some like random hotels and Airbnbs we've not been able to stay in because of her age. She's not able to go to some, like, you won't be able to go to a comedy club with me until you're 21. That's crazy.
I have no other word except for stupid.
But also, like, with TikTok and stuff, she's not been able to be in the creator program. You'll be able to be in the creator program. You'll just you'll be getting a little bit more independence.
Yeah, for sure. But
you'll be able to, like, get off of my bank account and get on your own. Are you gonna?
Oh, I will.
I think so. Yeah.
Oh, sign me up so fast. I'm so sick of her being able to see every purchase that I have. So sick.
Even look.
I don't care. It still stresses me out. I know as soon as I tap my card on that Apple Pay, I know that it's able for you to see it. Oh, it stresses me out to the max.
I don't even look. I didn't even know that bothered you. Or I would look more. I'm just kidding. No, I don't. Every now and then, I'm like, what in the world? And so I'll click and see.
What do you say what in the world to?
I mean,
after I go on a shopping trip?
No, not really. Sometimes I peek and see. Or if you did go do something and I know you spent money there, I'm like, let's see the damage that she did.
I think that just roots from my bad
also,
days.
if you want, like, you can be like, don't look at my stuff unless you like, unless I
don't look at my stuff.
Okay, I won't.
And I'm not doing anything bad.
Okay, well then this is the. You can't look at my Amazon purchases and stuff.
I just don't want you to see every time I spend $30 at Target.
Well, you connect the purchase to my Target account, so
sometimes
I get it anyway.
I don't. Sometimes I don't.
You lose out as points.
I do. You can also see exactly what I purchased when I do that.
Yeah,
So sometimes I just skip out on the Target circle.
Oh, I don't. I really don't care enough for you to be having anxiety about it. Like, please.
The funny thing
I'm not thinking about it.
The funny thing is I have a Target bag in the truck.
What's in it? What is in it? What could possibly? When is it from? Today? You went to Target today? Next question.
Do you want to see what it is?
Well, yeah, go get it.
Okay, here, hold this.
Okay. Woo! 2 Jennicas at the same time. Oh, very cute.
Right?
That's like it's like shiny.
I thought it'd be a cute work top. It was only $12.
Okay, that is cute. All right. Is this the last one or do we have 2 more? Oh, there's 2 more. Did you feel pressure for AJ to be perfect since you were a teen mom? Absolutely. Honestly, it felt like in situations, 2 other moms out in public, when you were on teams.
Was I not always the wellest behaved?
The most well behaved.
Was I not always the most well behaved at the soccer games?
Most of the time, yeah. But there were still times that you were a kid and stuff. But regardless, like, even with teachers and things, like, I felt like I did have to work a little bit harder and prove a little bit more. I've said this before, I'll say it again. Nobody trusts teen moms. Like, people would question any decision that I made for you, but as you got older, I just kept getting more and more secure in my decisions for you, and so I stopped caring more.
Do you think I'm perfect?
I think that you're great. Just kidding. Of course I think you're perfect. Yeah, but I think everybody should work on themselves at all times.
What would you if you change one thing about me, what would you change?
I wouldn't change anything about you.
If you had to change one thing about me, what would you change?
That you would chill out sometimes and take care of yourself and know that you could relax, and that is checking something off the to-do list. Relaxing. You don't have a good time relaxing. And so I wish sometimes I could just
That's fair.
Yeah. You make yourself literally get sad in order to relax. You're like, oh, I have to cry, watch a sad movie, think about every sad thing that's happened, and now I'll be down and in the bed. I'm like, you can be happy.
Back up.
I lay in the bed like this, watching my shows. Happy as a clam. You got to take care of yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get the last one.
Last one.
How are you two so close? Did we have an option? We were each other's only person.
I think it's because we're so kind to each other. It is. It
Yeah.
is. Like, we really are
We
kind.
understand each other. Like, we don't get frustrated easy. We
do sometimes. For
but not for like a long period of time.
No.
Like we really understand each other to the point where we know that it's not anything malintended. We know that
we're always working on it too. Like we're always learning
Constantly.
and we're always, hey, this is what we could have done better about this situation. But also we're two people that realize that we are sharing. Anybody that mother-daughter, when you're living under one roof, it's just you gotta give and take. And sometimes like I'm gonna be in a bad mood and I'm gonna not make sense. And that doesn't mean, first of all, it goes both ways. It goes both ways. Sometimes I can be in a bad mood and I could be irritating, going off, popping off for, no reason. And it's important during those when I come back to life, be like, hey, and to acknowledge that and not act like it, like I'm not one of those just moved on and act like it didn't happen. I'm like, hey, I realized I overreacted a little bit earlier when you messed up.
when you ruined my day.
No, I feel like we both really are always wanting to improve, and that is also a key. Yeah. That was that on that.
I need you to relax your foot.
That was it, the pointed toe.
Yeah, it's the ankle popping out. Yeah.
That's where my extra bone is in my foot.
And sometimes you just can't argue with things like she has an extra bone.
When you see it sticking out like that, it is. Okay, listen, we got some things we need to talk about before we wrap it up here.
Yeah.
Okay, so putting some feelers out there. This wrapped up that first round of Q&A questions from my Instagram stories. Now, how do we want to keep doing, we really do want to make this a series, every 4 to 6 weeks, put at least one out. And so we want to be able to build off previous questions. We want to be able to have more series style questions that maybe
more
themed.
Specific.
Yeah. So a couple of options. There are, I don't know how many of you are familiar with different types of, each platform has a subscription type level where you can
get closer with your audience almost.
Right.
It unlocks things that you can't just do on regular.
Right. And we actually almost did YouTube subscriptions probably 2 years ago.
Subscriptions or memberships?
Memberships. We
almost
did memberships a couple years ago, and then last minute we were just like, it just didn't
click
feel
and feel right.
We had it all set up. We had the whole page designed.
We had the tiers, we had the special things, we had everything.
And then it just didn't feel right. So we really don't love the idea of a paywall situation. So if it did end up being that, it would literally be 99 cents or the lowest amount that it could be.
YouTube advertiser, so she'd tell us what she thinks the base amount, and we would literally do the lowest.
Yeah, we would do the lowest. So there are options like Patreon and things like that. We kind of want to keep it on YouTube. There are Instagram subscriptions.
Just wherever. We really need you to comment wherever you have majority of your subscriptions from creators that you go to watch bonus stuff.
And it's just if there were, it's also called subscriptions on YouTube too. There's subscriptions and memberships, or is it just a memberships thing?
I think it's just a membership thing, but we can choose what we want, so we could reconfigure what we had started with.
So for YouTube, let's say if we did a memberships and we did it for 99 cents a month, then within that, it would have the option for you to submit the Q&As here. We could do polls within there.
There's some things that only you'd be able to comment on, some videos that you'd have early access to, stuff like that.
Yeah, we could release videos earlier.
Do y'all use
But do y'all even want something like that? Would y'all rather just put the questions in the comments?
Yeah, so we really just need to know.
Because we kind of ultimately decided no on memberships. We were we didn't even talk to and a lot of people do those and love those, and so
just what's most convenient for y'all, and what are y'all interested in?
What do you think you want from this? Because we do want another place where we can just talk a little bit more. Because I try to be chatty in the comments, but sometimes I want a whole conversation with a lot of us to be had, And that way I feel like sometimes if I'm down to 2 thumbnails, I can throw it in there and be like, okay guys, which one?
Yeah.
Something. Okay, so just let us know about that. And I think that was it. Right?
I think so.
Well, we will kind of wait and see what you guys say about this one. We will let you know where our next set of questions can be submitted. So, and if you have any ideas on themes or anything like that, you can take it.
Yeah, we can jot it down on our notebooks.
All right. Well, thank you so very much for watching this video. Thank you, Rocket Money, for sponsoring this video, and we will see you in the next one.
Bye.